All right, we're back here in the Ben Bosscher Show. We, of course, had to have some technical difficulties on the YouTube side.
What happened?
Brad was here, now so he can understand. Nobody knows, but we're back on YouTube. If you're listening on the radio, YouTube and Facebook stream is back up. Hey, before we get into this Lions Anthony Richardson thing, let's first tell you about Doug Cellini, Kingsview Partners. If you're looking for financial advice that actually makes sense, meet Doug Cellini of Kingsview Partners in Midland. A former teacher and coach, Doug breaks down the complicated stuff and makes it understandable for people like you and me. He helps families and professionals build clear game plans for their money so you can move forward with confidence, not confusion. That's Doug Cellini, Kingsview Partners, right here in Midland. Okay, so I was scrolling X, the Everything app yesterday. It's Brad's favorite app because it has everything.
It has everything.
And I saw something pretty funny. It was basically the ESPN writers going through what they feel are players that should be available for trade during this OTA process and what spot they should land in. And one of the guys was a former first-round pick, a quarterback, and he was proposed to be traded to the Lions. Anthony Richardson getting traded to the Lions here. Ben Solak of ESPN proposes that the Lions trade a 2027 fourth-round pick for the former fourth overall pick in Anthony Richardson, as well as a 2028 seventh-round pick. It's funny because there was 4 teams tossed out for AR-15, the nickname he has.
AR-15.
You correct?
Okay.
All 4 teams were the NFC North teams. It was just the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings, and it was 4 different writers of ESPN, each selecting one, so kind of odd how it worked out that way. I don't know why the Vikings would be one of them since they just added Kyler and still have McCarthy, whatever. Quickly here, though, my comparison to this, one, no, absolutely not. They're not trading for Anthony Richardson. This is dumb. Anthony Richardson is like the car that you're driving down the road and you see a car parked out in front of somebody's driveway and you're like, oh, that car is like not bad. What's the price on that? Oh, that car is only $3,500. That's a $10,000 car. Like, what's it doing sitting out in front of somebody's house? Let me go for it. Let me buy it. And then it actually ends up costing you more money and spending you more time and wasting your time than it did if you would have just kept John driving by. So that's how I feel about the Anthony Richardson trade. The Lions aren't trading for Anthony Richardson. Come on, a 4th-round pick?
Yeah, certainly not a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a 6th-round pick, then maybe. But
well, and the reasoning was like, well, the Vikings' 5th-round pick is going to be better than the Packers' 5th-round pick, and because the Lions can't make just a pick-for-player swap, they would have to include a 7th-rounder with it, and I don't think the Lions are going to do a 5th. It was like, oh my goodness, the gymnastics we're doing here for a total lemon of a vehicle to connect your analogy. I mean, the guy threw for less than 50% completion. He's a total lemon.
Bad.
Yeah,
he
he's
just
bad.
straight up is bad. And it's just the potential with Anthony. Oh, but he's big and he's mobile. And boy, did you see him throw it 80 yards down the field that one time in week 1 in his rookie year? Okay.
It's also just not a fit for a team that, like, if they had to go to their backup quarterback, we've got 10 seconds.
Yep.
Needs stability.
Exactly. So, no, they're not having Anthony Richardson. Jared Goff is the Lions quarterback. We're talking Pistons and Yaxel Lendenberg next.
Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Modern Realty's Matt Smith. Matt, what would you say is the most important part of selling or buying right now for folks?
10 o'clock hour here on the Ben Bosscher Show with Kyle Sandel and Brad Tunney. We just got some crazy breaking news in that break there. Yannick Sinner just lost in the French Open with Carlos Alcaraz not even competing. These guys have been in the top of the sport for the last couple years, and now neither of them are going to win the French Open. I know a lot of people don't care about tennis. I also really don't either. I just thought that was kind of wild. Okay, we're going to talk about a guy that I know people care about in this state a lot more than I do. And that is Yaxel Lendenberg of the Michigan Wolverines. So a couple days ago, we got the report that the Pistons reportedly are interested in trading up in this upcoming NBA draft for one Yaxel Lendenberg. Now, first, I just want to say, this was reported by Brett Siegel, who was the same man.
Is a bum.
Okay, you could describe him as that. Was the same man that all offseason and all trade deadline last year told us that the Pistons were getting Malik Monk. It was a done deal. It was written up. All the signing. Dennis Schroeder's going to the Kings. It's a sign and trade. Malik Monk to the Pistons. He over and over kept telling us that. And I, of course, was intrigued by Malik Monk. I think he would have really helped this year's Pistons team, and it never happened. So I don't really like and trust the reporting of Brett Siegel. But this is a fun topic to talk about in general because it's, of course, a guy that won the national championship for the college team in the state. And this was a very, very fun Michigan team this year that everybody fell in love with. There was a lot of controversy. Oh, Yaxel Lendenberg, it's his 6th year of college basketball. Dusty May spent all the money to get the guys on the team. Anybody could do that if they had the cash to do it. Nonetheless, it's the guy from the championship team going to the Pistons. Here are the reasons why I think it is intriguing and why it could work. Because if you've listened to the show before, you know that no one really dislikes Yaxel Lendenberg as much as I do. So you would think immediately I see this and I'm like, oh, okay, I know I could care less about this. Here's why it is intriguing, though. I think there's 5 reasons why I think this could work if the Pistons do trade up and get him. First off, he is just a winning player that is willing to sacrifice. And it's easy to give the cliche of, oh, he's a winning player, this and that. I mean, it was obvious that he absolutely plays a winning style of basketball. His shot attempts went down by over 2 a game when he left UAB to come to Michigan in that transition. And a guy that only averaged 15 points per game, but yet still was recognized as a first-team All-American, still was the Big Ten Player of the Year in a loaded year of top talent in college basketball. I mean, there were so many good players, even in the Big Ten itself. It was an awesome season of individual talent in the sport, and Lendenberg was recognized as one of the 5 best guys across college basketball this year. So willing to sacrifice, to play with the other better players of Ademara, who's probably going to be the first Michigan player taken off the board. Very interested to see what NBA team he goes to because I think he's going to be awesome. And Morez Johnson as well, like playing in a front court that involved 2 other bigs. Lendenberg sacrificed not only his offensive ability and output, but he sacrificed his ability to play the 4, which is obviously his best natural true position, I would assume. And in the league, I would guess it's going to be that way as well. Went from double-digit rebounds to like 6 a game because, hey, I've got Morez Johnson and Ademara here. Next, he is just an elite gap defender. That was the best thing about Yaxel Lendenberg to me that I continue to say over and over again. It wasn't the big full court passes that he would catch from Mara. It wasn't the big time dunks. It wasn't even the fact that he was extremely clutch and would always hit big time shots at the end of games for Michigan. If the ball is the next guy over and Lendenberg is the guy at the nail or he is the guy that is right next to the guy who's defending the ball, there was nobody better in college basketball than him at that spot if there was a drive made. He is an elite gap defender, a pretty good help defender across the court as well, and on ball. I mean, he has so much length that he's able to stay with these smaller guards because he's quick as well. So his defense, there's a reason why he was the back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year in the American. Didn't win it in the Big Ten because, of course, it was Mara. A couple other things. Made major improvements as a three-point shooter at Michigan. Only shot 2 a game at UAB in his final season there. That elevated up to over 4 a game at Michigan. And like I said, his catch-and-shoot three-pointer just felt so timely with the Wolverines. Time and time again, he would hit a big one. Obviously, in the Big Ten tournament, that's the one you think about in the semifinal against Wisconsin. I was there. It was the first time I was like, wow, okay, this guy is something else. Finally, I think the spacing for him is going to be better in the league than it was in college. Not that I think it will be. He was playing with Morez Johnson and Ademara, 2 guys who just don't stretch the floor. And that was, I mean, his game at UAB was driving into the paint and using his athleticism. So in the NBA, the spacing is just going to be better overall for him. Now, Now on the Pistons, I mean, this Pistons spacing isn't great, but it's certainly going to be better than a college basketball team that has two bigs that don't stretch on it. Those are the reasons why I think it is intriguing for Yaxel Lendenberg to Detroit. Now, the obvious takeaways that you'd say, no, one, he's old. He's 23. He's going to be 24 by the time the draft begins. Usually don't see guys drafted that high that are that old. You know, you think of like the Chris Duartes of the world who went 12th overall to the Pacers a couple years ago. These guys go later in the draft. I'm not saying they can't work out, but they certainly don't go this high. He's really dumb. And that's the big thing here for Yaxel Lendenberg. If you are on social media and you see what Yaxel is about in these live streams and obviously all of his post-game pressers, he wasn't afraid to I don't want to say he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. I think he just didn't realize what he was saying. A lot of the things that he would say in the post-game pressers, and very immature. I guess that's probably the best way to describe Lendenberg. And the other thing is, like, why was he at UAB for so long? You know, he was the defensive player of the year and then came back and was the American player of the year and the defensive player of the year. Like, he would have been a big prospect in the portal cycle the year prior to going to Michigan as well. He just kind of popped up and was, this guy's the number one player in the portal. Why was he at UAB for so long? Why did these other programs not want to take a chance on him even in the year prior? Those would be the reasons why I'm a little bit concerned about Lendenberg. Brad, I know you have your concerns about Yax as well.
Yeah, I mean, this has come up because I think Ben is so high on Yax.
Correct.
As an NBA prospect.
He thinks he's a OG Anunoby. That's what he said. He's lighter OG Anunoby.
I just...
Crazy, right?
Look, and we could be far wrong about this. Like, NBA draft evaluations similar to NFL draft evaluations, Major League Baseball, like, they're all really, really tough. No one can truly be an expert in this. I think we just have too deep of a history with prospects like Yax, and when I say like Yax, guys that will be drafted at 23 years or older. I was trying to dig on my own yesterday and then found a Charlotte-based, like a Hornets guy yesterday that kind of did the same research that I was halfway to. Every player 23 or older drafted in the top 20 in the last 15 years. So it's
Wow.
Yes, this is exactly.
Look at Brad coming in prepared.
Thank you. I mean, I was doing this like for fun on my own because
Sure.
I'm a loser, and I just so happened to be with you on the show today, and you wanted to do the Yax thing. One, I don't necessarily believe the rumor about Yax and the Pistons. I think this is the time of year you've got to be like really cognizant that like every team is going to be linked to every single player. I think it just hits home a little bit more when it is Yax and the Pistons, obviously.
Of course.
But every player 23 years or older in the top 20 since 2010. I'm going to give you this list. You'll know every single one of these names. For our audience that probably will only know half the names or a quarter of them or none of them.
That's kind of telling, though, right?
That should kind of tell you something, even if you're not a hoop head. Okay, so the list, I'll start with the most recent. Dalton Knecht, who fell in the draft to 17, but was seemingly a surefire, like, high-end, tangible NBA skill, which was shooting, and was a highly productive college player.
Yeah, really good.
Really good college player that, like, was mocked in the top 10 at times and then fell to 17.
In a weak draft as well.
In a weak draft, fell, and was then seen as a steal and might be out of the league within the next 24 months.
Will he get a second deal?
Correct. The pick after him, Tristan da Silva, fine rotational player.
Just watched him against the Pistons in the playoffs this year.
Like was a ninth man as now a 24, 25-year-old guy on an 8 seed. Okay. Chris Duarte is the name you gave. Great rookie, now out of the league. That's within 5 years. Cam Johnson is the best player I'm going to name here, who got a second deal. He was the guy on the finals team, UNC, fifth-year guy out of UNC. Went to a finals with the Phoenix Suns, ends up in Brooklyn, now in Denver. Injury guy, never making an all-star team, fine, right?
Fine player.
Yeah, like low ceiling. But all the issues that you look at with Yax, low ceiling, maybe high floor. 2016, Buddy Hield, he went 6th overall. Again, not a difference maker.
Yeah, and Hield, the best college player you'll probably name on this list as well. Like that's the only reason why he went that high was because he was
AP Player of the Year or no?
Yeah, he was over Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, so there you go. Player of the Year, like Yax, went 6th overall. High-end NBA skill as a shooter, and just never found a ceiling as a player. Has never been a good starter.
Gets traded to every new team, and it's like, oh, they got Buddy Hield. That's a big deal. Why does every team trade him then?
Yep. DeLon Wright, No thanks. Adrian Payne, we forget was a lottery pick.
R.I.P.
Yep. Ekpe Udo.
There's a name blast from the past.
There you go.
Utah Jazz.
Sixth pick of the Jazz or the Warriors in 2010.
I think Warriors ended up on the Jazz.
And that's the list. That's it in 15 years.
Wow,
that's the list of 23-plus-year-olds. That's it. So these guys don't get drafted high, and when they do, they're mostly low ceiling, if any ceiling at all. And, like, the argument is that Yaxel will have a high floor. We just did this with a bunch of guys that had similar resumes to Yaxel. In particular, Connect, Johnson, and Heald. And the best of them was Cam Johnson. If the best-case scenario for Yaxel is Cam Johnson, I'm just probably good on trading up for that guy, and I'm probably good on taking him in the top 10 if I'm another organization too. Even if we change the cutoff to 22.5, would be the next step. 22.5-year-olds or more.
But why even do that? You know, like
because it gets worse. Like
okay.
The best player in this group is Davion Mitchell.
Oh man.
Denzel Valentine's in this group. Jerian Grant is in this group. Doug McDermott, Andrew Nicholson, and Wesley Johnson. Like that, there's a group of over a dozen guys now for the last 15-plus years that were 22.5 or older that were picked in the top 20. That's what you're looking at with the Axe pick. And you might be saying, well, he's different than all of those guys. That's fine. So was Buddy Hield and Cam Johnson, I think. I think you're just drafting a guy that has no ceiling, like in a bad way, not like the ceiling is the roof type. And like the floor is fine. Like if he's Obi Toppin in the league, I think that's what you're getting.
And it feels that's probably a similar comparison, just because like some of those guys you throw out, because the case you can make for Yak is, yeah, but he was like a first-team All-American, best player. Well, there's been that, you know, like the Dalton Connects of the world. Buddy Hield is the best example. Buddy Hield was an amazing college player. And I understand like the archetype of player. That is why Yax is an exciting talent. And
because of the size.
Because of the size and because what he does on both ends, and he fits probably what the Pistons want from a guy. He basically, like, in a dream reality, he's like a less athletic Ron Holland that actually has the ability to stretch it better.
He's your bigger, younger Tobias Harris.
Yeah, right. Tobias, honestly, is probably a pretty good comparison for him at some point if he's able to stretch it a decent amount. And so, but the issue is, like, some of those guys that you name, like, they didn't fit the mold of, he's this great two-way guy. Connect was an offensive player. Buddy Hield was an offensive player. Yaxel Lendenberg has already kind of formed himself into a
both-way
role
guy,
into a two-way role player as an elite college player, which is pretty rare. So, yes, it could be unfair to him to say, hey, the only reason why I don't want to do this is because 23-year-olds who get drafted this high just don't work.
It's just certainly not a guy I'm trading up for, the way the rumors stated, and the way they'd have to, because he's going to go before pick 21.
Yes, he's going to go before pick 15. Probably.
Yeah, there's just no way I'm trading up for a guy that history of the last 20 years would tell you can't have a ceiling that would be worth trading up for or adding to a roster. And I think this is where the fan base like maybe gets split a little bit in that, well, they're ready to win now, draft a win now player. I think that's just a fallacy for a team that's core is all under the age of 24. Like, you're still drafting for ceiling.
Yeah.
While Cade has gotten you there quicker than you thought, you're still not there yet. Like, SGA is 26, 27 years old, right? Like, the actual guys that are competing at the highest, the only one that bucks the trend is obviously the Spurs right now. Like, you can't compete with that. But you're still drafting for ceiling in a major way. It's okay to draft the guy that's 20 right now that might not be fully ready for another 2 to 3 years. It's okay to go find your J-Dub, basically, who was 20 at draft, and it took 2 years to become an all-star. Like, go find that as opposed to finding the guy who's ready right now but doesn't have a ceiling next to you and will max out as, like, Tobias Harris, who's a really good pro, but never an all-star. You're still trying to find ceilings right now. I don't see it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's different. Like, I think there's a conversation to be had related to fifth-year guys post-pandemic and in the NIL era. Like, in a non-NIL landscape, does Yax go to the draft last year and as a 22, 23-year-old draft pick, like,
it's not as bad,
in the front end of the second round, and it's like, oh, okay, what is it now? And it's like, well, I think we just saw it. Like, he was on a national championship team, was the player of the year, and was 15-7. And now is making the jump to the NBA where he's just not going to duplicate 15-7. He's probably like a 10-4 in year one.
And he's not a starter, right? I mean, that's the big thing for me. Is like if you're drafting Yaxel Lendenberg as a win-now player, his guide to becoming a starter is, like you mentioned, 2 years down the line.
And
two years down the line, he's 26.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a perfect point of this too, right? Like, you look at this, and if he's not starting day one, a year from now, he's now a 25-year-old who has, like, no potential because we've just seen the evidence that, like, the moment he hits the league, it's like takes 2 to 3 months to realize, oh, this is what he actually is, because he's already 24 years old.
He's a depreciating asset the second he gets in the league.
Yes, he's buying a used car. And so unless he overperforms the draft position from day one, he becomes a used car from day one. And a year from now, he's a 25-year-old that, like, no one really wants.
Exactly.
So he has to overperform the moment he steps into the league because of the age thing. And I think that's a tough risk to take for a team that, like, he's older than the two biggest pieces of your core right now.
That's the craziest part. He's older than Cade and Jalen Duren. Like,
yeah, he's older than Asar and Duren right now.
Asar and Duren. Yeah. And then he's the same draft class as Cade.
Yeah.
Which is still crazy to think about. And yeah, he's not going to have the role to overperform with the Pistons. Maybe on another team.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen the Warriors have had interest in Yaxel Lendenberg. If he goes to the Warriors in a starter right away, then maybe he could. But it's not going to happen for the Pistons, especially in a loaded draft that has not just the top talent, but a deep class of really good players that the Pistons, if they're going to trade up for, if it did be Lendenberg, it would feel like a missed opportunity, 100%. And we're going to get into some of those players that the Pistons might want to be looking at because, look, I know you're like, oh, you're already talking NBA draft. The draft is in less than a month. Like, the NBA Finals is almost here, and then boom, it gets right into it in the offseason. You don't have to wait around like in the NFL. So we're going to give you some names to look out for early. I know Brad has been getting in his duffel bag with prospects for the Pistons ever since they got knocked out of the playoffs to get excited for next year. So we're going to get you excited as well. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Aired Insurance. Tired of your insurance being in a worse position than your fantasy football team in week 3? It sounds like Brad's teams last year. Aired Insurance Group steps in like a clutch pinch hitter and gets you in a better insurance position with coverage that actually fits your life. Give them a follow on social media. You'll learn something, maybe laugh a little, and definitely stop overpaying for insurance that's striking out. We're talking Yaxel Lendenberg to the Pistons, and we're shutting it down. We turned it down. So now we're going to talk about some other guys that the Pistons might be looking at in the draft. They got the 21st pick. Before we do that, let me quickly tell you about the Midland Area Community Foundation. The Midland Area Community Foundation is dedicated to strengthening our community through generosity and connection, supporting local nonprofits, scholarships, and projects that make Midland a better place to live, work, and play. Okay, so the draft is coming up, 21st pick for the Pistons. You hope that this is the highest they're going to be picking for a couple of years, and it just so happens that this is in what is likely to be the deepest draft in a while. I don't know about the draft 3 years from now. I don't even really know about the draft that much next year. I certainly know what has been talked about, though, about this 2026 draft. There's the top talent, and then there is some deep talent as well. So if you just explore the interwebs and go over some of the names that these sites have thrown out for mocks of these players, I have a list of a few names to go through. The first off is one that you probably know pretty well if you watched college basketball this season in the Big Ten. Bennett Sturtz is who Sports Illustrated has the Pistons mocked at 21. He was the elite three-level scoring guard for Iowa. He was on Drake the year before. A little bit of an older talent, but certainly not at Yaxel Lendenberg level. But Sturtz is an amazing shooter, off the dribble, catch and shoot as well. He was the star player at his Iowa team, and he is a guy that if your main concern for the Pistons team next year is they need a secondary guy that can create and score to take pressure off of Cade, Sturtz would be one of those guys. Another one of those guys, though, is who the Ringer has, Isaiah Evans from Duke, who was the wing high-volume three-point shooter there. Nearly 7.5 three-pointers attempted per game from Duke. Sophomore at Duke, was a part of the team that went to the Final Four with Cooper Flagg, Con Knippel. He stuck around to play in this past season with Cam Boozer, and it worked out in his favor because he is a higher draft prospect this year than he was last. Kind of the unsung hero of those last two Duke teams. I know Duke gets a lot of crap for, they didn't go to the national championship game. They went on two deep tournament runs, and Evans was a major contributor in both of those. A couple other names to throw out to look out for. Alan Graves, the kind of stretch big from Santa Clara. LeBaron Philon has been a name I've seen fall, the crafty guard from Alabama. And Clutch Points has a name in Egbuka Okori, freshman point guard from Stanford. Those are some names you can look out for. Brad, what do you think about any of those guys?
I think a couple of them stand out to me. One is, I think, the obvious one that keeps getting pointed out for Pistons fans, and that's Bennett Sturtz, just because he's a well-known Midwest guy, played at Iowa, had a couple of big moments within the Big Ten. I don't love it. I don't love adding I don't like anyone on my team under like 6'4" and kind of big. Just from a roster building standpoint, I especially don't like it when I think Danis is probably a real piece to your roster next year.
I was just going to ask, what do you think about Danis Jenkins then?
Well, I think when you already have one of those guys, then that's it. I don't like the possibility of having to play both of them at once. I just don't like small guards. It's just from a roster building standpoint, I don't like it. And I think Danis should be a part of your roster next year. I think he's good enough, and he's also like a value, like one of the better values in the league. If you can get a reasonable backup point guard who played the way he did in the postseason for at least half of the games at $4 million a year, which is like close to a league minimum, that's pretty damn good. So I don't know why I'm necessarily drafting his replacement / a guy that could play off-ball to Cade, but it then forces Cade to guard up. It forces Asar to guard up. Like, I just want to get bigger across the board. So Sturtz is the one guy. I think the one name that wasn't brought up there is Cameron Carr. And I don't know why his name wasn't mentioned, other than maybe it's just a consensus that he's going higher than 21. I laid out 5 guys that really feel good to me. Basically, that could go anywhere between like 8 and 25.
Right, because the Pistons could trade up, of course, as it was laid out in the Yaxel Lendenberg.
And I think in a good draft, it's going to be hard to trade up. But the advantage, or not the advantage, but the leverage for the Pistons right now is that I think when you're a front office like Trajan and you've only had one real draft here, and you got a guy, like I think you want another big guy, like SpongeBob, maybe? Yeah, right.
It's okay,
yeah. And it's hard to find that guy necessarily at 21. But
when you say big guy, do you mean figuratively big guy, or like is a big guy and
like a guy that is being mocked
forward in
the top 10 right now, like in a very good draft? So a top 10 pick in this draft, like they're all top 5 guys basically in every other draft.
Right.
that if you can get a guy like that, if he falls to like 14 or 15, and you can slide up to grab someone that fits the mold of what you're looking for, I think it's an opportunistic draft for a front office like Trajan to do that and make this the last big draft that they have. Because to your point, they might not be drafting this high again for the next 5 years or maybe ever in the Cade era. So when you did your work early at the trade deadline to move from 28 to 21 the way they did, that's why they have the 21st pick. It makes it a little easier to go from 21 to maybe 15 with the use of – they have like 15 second-round picks. Like, could you take 5 seconds plus 21 plus something like Sasser and get to 14 or 15? Like, can you entice the Bulls at 15 with a new front office to asset collect a little bit? Because they already have the 4th pick.
Yeah, they have a top pick already. Yeah.
They have the 4th pick. Could you have them just move back from 15 to 21 and have your front office collect a bunch of assets, which is like what a lot of early front offices like to do? They like to kick the can down the road and do that and get to 15 and draft someone like this. I look at Braden Burries. What's his name?
Burries, correct.
Yeah, Burries.
Arizona.
He's the Arizona combo guard. He's like the mold of a guy that Trajan Lagan has drafted in the past, 6'5", 215, combo guard, excellent shooter. Think like a VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Desmond Bain type guy. I think that's a great fit.
Certainly going to be a top 10 pick, so that would have to be a lottery.
You think he will?
I mean, a
lottery pick for sure.
It's just tough. I mean, okay, I won't say for sure because right now there's the consensus like top 4 or 5-ish guys, and then there's just a logjam of guards. There are so many guards that could go anywhere from 5 to like 15 right now in the draft that I don't know the order of what they will go.
Correct.
Because right now, if you look at any mock draft, they're all over the place. They're jumbled everywhere. So Burries could be a guy that does end up going towards the back half of 15.
I could see a scenario where like obviously the top 4 go, and then Wagler, Acuff, Brown, Flemings all go, and there's your top 8. And then like Nate Ament, Yaxel, and Mara
ends up going higher.
Yeah, all jump Burries because he's just the guard that falls. And now you're looking at like pick 13. And Burries is still there. And, like, can you make a play?
Yeah, and you get Tyler Hero.
Yeah, and you basically get your version of Tyler Hero in the draft, cost-controlled for 4 years. I like this Hannes Steinbeck guy.
He was a name I had written down.
From Washington. Think like, okay, this is going to suck to hear. Think like Henry Ellenson, but good. Think like Henry Ellenson, but with the body and, like, rebounding ability of, like, Isaiah Hartenstein or Domantas Sabonis. That's like the actualized version of him. He's pretty cool. 6'11", 250, can play next to Duren in theory.
Is Henry Ellenson the worst of the bunch of that era of Pistons picks, or is it Dumboya?
I mean, Dumboya was, the 15th pick?
He was higher.
Ellenson was 19.
18 or 19, yeah.
And they're both terrible. I really like Cameron Carr. He's the Baylor combo guard. He's got a strap. He fits the mold, 6'4", 185, defends a little bit. I like Alan Graves, the name you mentioned. Think of like maybe like a more fluid Isaiah Stewart who defends on the perimeter instead of at the rim.
Like a thick-bodied player, but stretches it at a much higher level. He hit the big-time shot against Kentucky in the tournament, if you remember that game between them two.
And then I love Isaiah Evans, too. I mean, Isaiah Evans, think like a slightly shorter Brandon Ingram with like the shooting ability of Malik Beasley, hopefully. That would be the actualized version of it. Those are my guys.
Are you team trade up for the Pistons? Like currently, if you had to pick like get aggressive, trade up or whatever, get whoever falls to you at 21?
It would depend on the cost. Like if it's really just 21 and then like Chaz Lanier, Marcus Sasser plus like 3 to 5 seconds and I can get to 15 and like get Cameron Carr for sure, then sure, I'd do it. Otherwise, I'm content taking any one of those 5. If it's Isaiah Evans falling to 21, I'm super content with it. I'm also super content using 21 for Trey Murphy or something that might not seem realistic. I'm content with that too. I'm content with using 21 to maybe kick down the road, considering this is a really nice draft. Can I pick up a first-round pick in a different year, knowing the new lottery odds? Can I get like a first-round pick and a little bit of an asset, or can I get 2 firsts back from someone who wants to trade into the first round?
Because this draft is so good?
Yeah, like I'll asset collect. I'm willing to do that. I think that.
So you're willing to do anything?
Yes. I'm willing to do really anything. I think most Pistons fans will tell you just got to trade the pick because they're ready to win now. I think that's a little irresponsible. Like if you can get 2 firsts out of this, I think you do that, knowing that then you can spin that into something better, like a Trey Murphy down the road.
Sure. I just do think using this pick to acquire a player that is actually going to mean something for this core going forward has to be the move. Whether that is actually trading up and drafting someone, or it's using the pick to trade for a guy like a Trey Murphy? Because I'm assuming in any big-time trade that the 21st pick is probably involved.
The super soft move, like the super Trajan stereotypical move that I think the fan base and I would be mad at is like you take 21 and you trade back to like 26. You basically just revert your pick back
and get more seconds
and pick up like some seconds or like a reclamation project. Like I'm good on that. Like go make impact right now. And you can do that by trading up, keeping the pick, or trading it for something major. We'll see.
NBA draft, it's coming up shortly after the finals on June 23rd. I forget that it's 2 days now. I think last year was the first year of them doing that. June 23rd and 24th is the NBA draft. Hey, if you're looking for something to do right here in mid-Michigan, Go Great Lakes has got you covered, from festivals and live music to outdoor adventures, great food, and family-friendly events. GoGreatLakesBay.org is your one-stop guide to the Great Lakes Bay region. Whether it's a weekend plan or a last-minute idea, get out, explore local, and go Great Lakes. We have got a fun and goofy Around the League next on 100.9 The Mid. You don't just have to be a pro to get pro-level care. Whether you're hitting the gym, the field, or just staying active, Covenant Healthcare Sports Medicine helps you prevent injuries, recover quickly, and keep doing what you love. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We're on YouTube and Facebook as well. If you follow The Mitt on social media, you will have noticed last week we did a pretty stupid video. I do these videos where I go around and ask people here in Dow Diamond dumb questions about sports. And one that I asked last week was one that I saw inspired off of social media. And it was, we're doing Around the League, by the way. So, you know what?
Time to zoom out and go Around the League.
Brad beat me to it.
Presented by Aired Insurance Group.
Yes. Okay, let's get into this. So, the NFL has 32 teams. If you put the nicknames, which is just the names, but, you know, people say the mascots. No, we're not doing the mascots. We're doing the nicknames of the teams. If you put them in a battle royale style war fight, Fortnite you could call it, who wins? What nickname wins? 32, everybody's against each other. Which nickname is the final one standing? I asked the people around. We got a really popular answer. We had a couple other goofy ones as well. Brad wasn't here for this. I'm interested to see what he's got to say. Brad, have you thought about this at all? Ever?
No, I've never thought about it. Did this stem from some man on the street like TikTok in New York City?
About the NBA. They did the NBA one.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
And what was the answer for the NBA?
The NBA one is tough because, like, the Wizards, you would feel like could just cast a spell on anybody and win anything.
Yeah, I think the Wizards are the best.
But then it's like, who's more powerful, the Suns or the Heat? They're like kind of the
same.
same.
You know what? The Suns actually are the best. Yeah,
right.
The Suns are number one, and then
the Heat, and then the Wizards?
No, I think the Suns, then the Wizards.
See, the NBA one is tough, but that is what this inspired from. Yes, I saw that video.
I don't think that's tough. I think that's cut and dry. Suns, Wizards.
Let's do the NFL version.
Right.
So there's a lot of animal-based nicknames in the NFL, but I don't think any of them win.
Right.
Brad, do you have an early contender? Because I know the order. It's already in my head.
You know the order.
I know it. Because we've been talking about this for a week now.
I think okay, so I'm pretty sure the correct order starts with the Titans, period. Is that what you have?
Yes, the Titans was the team that I wrote them off early. Not that I wrote them off, but I just didn't really think about it that hard. Titans is probably for sure number one, right? It's basically a Greek god.
Yeah, they just have
depending on the depiction, everything.
Are like 200 feet tall.
Yeah.
Giants was the other common answer I saw in the thing.
Giants was the most popular answer by a long shot.
The issue is I don't think mythical giants were any more than like 25 feet tall. Like in most depictions.
See, if you Google it, you get a wide range of answers. Because I've seen one that they're like 800 feet tall. I've seen that they're like 10 feet tall. So I don't really know how big a giant truly is.
I'm saying they're 25 feet tall.
Okay. And you're saying that the Titans are just much larger.
I mean, they could, and they could be like 200 feet tall. They're
right.
Yeah,
they have
wizard
mythical powers.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think the Titans are like just undefeated in this. I will nominate the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Which allegedly
isn't the Cleveland Browns just named after Jim Brown?
Yeah, but the mascot is the elf.
But we're not doing mascots. Okay, but continue.
But what if a Brown is an elf?
It could be. So you're picking the elf over the giant.
Well, I think an elf would beat a giant. Like if the giant has no mythical powers and they're just large, you're stomping.
That's
on me?
What's happening to a giant and a Brown.
Okay, well, too bad the elf is like in like a little woodland area, kind of creaturing around, and they also have like little trickery and stealth opportunities. And I'm like untying the giant shoes, and they're like doing all of those things to trip them up. And I think an elf probably also has some little sneaky powers that a wizard would have. And so I think a Cleveland Brown might be second.
I didn't think about that one.
Also named after Paul Brown, not Jim Brown.
Paul Brown, yes. We got that from Art in our YouTube chat. Thank you. I knew it was somebody, Brown. Yeah, I mean, I thought the Browns would be towards the bottom of this. I didn't really do the depiction of elves for this, so...
Because the mascot is what, Brownie the elf?
I thought their mascot was just a helmet.
Right, their
Well,
mascot
that's their
is a
logo.
helmet.
Yeah, that's just the logo. Okay, but yes, Titans, Giants. I would say the New Orleans Saints kind of fit a Titan-esque choice here. I would put them in the top 3 most likely.
Like a biblical saint.
Correct. Just another version that could cast powers over something else. Not necessarily powers, but has the ability to.
I still lean elf.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I like an elf still.
Okay, he likes the elf over the saint. That's fair. Some other common answers that we got were the Viking. I think any combination of like the Viking, Buccaneer, Raider mold is decent just because they are, of course, like pirates essentially. It's not bad. An animal answer we got was the Bengal tiger. Our one own very Matt DeVries threw that one out.
Who wins in an actual like predator matchup between the Bears, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Panthers?
Right. I've discussed this as well.
Who wins amongst those 5?
The Bears are grizzly bears, correct?
What else would they be? Like koala bears?
Well, they're not like brown bears or black bears or polar bears.
Okay,
right?
okay.
It is because there was a big difference between a grizzly bear and all those other bears. If they are grizzly bears, they win. They defeat the Lions. They defeat a Bengal tiger is definitely like a pretty good answer. Panthers, no. Rams, no. It would be the Bears, I think. Of all of those style of animal ones, I think they get the choice. Now, then you can do the worst thing. Is the worst thing a cardinal or is it a Steeler? A steel
it's
worker.
Not a Steeler.
Is it a
it's
steel
not a
worker?
Steeler. I mean, come on. We're talking about the middle. We're talking about the pride of the middle class here.
You're right. It's probably the Cardinals, right? Cardinals are probably the worst one. I mean, it's just a little bird. You also have the Ravens and Seahawks, but those are bigger birds.
Those are scary birds, though.
Yeah, like
it's
a raven
for sure
is scary.
A cardinal.
Cardinal's the worst one.
Yeah.
A Packer?
What is that? That's
I don't even know.
They're meat packers, right?
Yeah, it's someone who packages things.
I don't know.
Maybe
Again,
cheese packers.
I'm not talking down on the Midwest middle class.
I will talk down on the Packers in any opportunity I can. Okay, so yeah, Titans.
What about a dolphin?
Ooh, dolphins is pretty bad because what are they doing? They're in water.
What are they doing? Yeah, they're just dolphining around.
They just are kind of goofing off in the water. They don't have an evil bone in their body to
goofing off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a pretty good one too. I still think the Cardinals is probably the weakest one.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out who wins in this 5-cat fight here with the one with the Grizzly. So the biggest is the Bengal tiger. Well, no, the biggest is the grizzly bear. But the highest bite force is actually the jaguar.
Ooh, I didn't think about the jaguar. And the jaguars are probably the fastest ones, right? Aren't jaguars known for being incredibly fast?
The fastest would be the leopard or the panther.
Oh, the panther would get that. Yeah, there's a lot of
the
cats.
Panther. Yeah, the jaguar has the most powerful bite though, is what I'm reading. The grizzly would be the overall
and
winner.
It's huge.
Though.
Yeah, I think the grizzly is there. But you have a couple outliers. You have a couple that like I don't really know how well they do. Like the jets. Are they fighter jets? Do they have machinery, weaponry?
Yes.
Then that's pretty good. Like that's going to do a pretty good amount of damage. What about the Chargers?
An elf is probably still just
an elf beats the Jets.
Yeah, I mean they're just kind of like swindling their way into taking the
so
jet
you're saying
air.
essentially that since they can like hide in the bushes that they win the whole thing.
Yeah, they're like little like wizard guerrilla warfare people
that are freaky looking too.
Yeah, I mean like think about Santa's elves. They've all got little powers.
How do they get to all those houses in one night?
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I think we're sleeping on the elves for sure.
And then you have the Chargers, which are. Is it
lightning
just a
bolts?
combination of lightning? Like a lightning can kind of shut down everything, right? If it's powerful enough. So that one's not bad. And then you have like the Cowboys, which you would think, it's
I'm
the
good
Cowboys.
on the Cowboys, yeah.
They have pistols.
I guess revolvers.
They're
though,
taking down anything.
Yeah.
Not really anything. Definitely not the Giants. And then like, what is a commander? Are like they just make other people do things for them? Hey, go fight that other group. They can't do it for themselves. That's all I've got.
I still think Titans 1, Giants or Elves 2.
A Texan is just a person from Texas?
Yeah, which I could care about,
That's Ben right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like
in one of the worst major cities in the union this weekend. Dallas, Texas. What a terrible place.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ben. He is a Texan.
It's just a bunch of financial concrete losers.
All right, that's around the league. We give Titans the award for best NFL nickname that would win in a fight. Cardinals, unfortunately, you're the worst. Maybe we'll do NBA or another one sometime, even though I think we've kind of decided Suns or Wizards there for one or two. Look, when the seasons change, Maple Hill Nursery is still hard at work for you. They offer professional spring and fall cleanup to get your yard looking its best year-round. When things warm up, their mowing services keep your lawn in top shape all summer long. From winter to spring and everything in between, Maple Hill Nursery is your all-season lawn and landscape partner right here in Midland. Crane's L&M Appliance Center has been serving the Tri-City area with quality home appliances, from refrigerators and washers to stoves and dishwashers, backed by friendly, knowledgeable staff you can count on. They make getting the right appliance easy with delivery, professional installation, haul away from your old unit, and even financing options to fit your budget. Stop into Crane's L&M Appliance Center today and discover dependable brands and great value for every room in your home. So Lions OTAs got started yesterday. We don't have a ton of info as far as like what's going on there. There was a picture of Jimmy Rolder, who was drafted, of course, last year from Michigan, with the football on defense. So I don't know if he like picked somebody off or got a fumble recovery. There hasn't been a lot that has come out from the OTAs yet. We'll find out more this weekend once the media is more involved. But Tim Twentyman, senior writer for the Detroit Lions, threw out his 5 things to watch at OTAs for the Lions this year. We got a couple minutes before the 11 o'clock hour starts. So I'm going to run through these and just kind of give a ranking on how excited I am, or like the most intrigued that I am by these 5 things at OTAs, because there's a lot going into this Lions offseason camp that we're looking out for. Number 1, I think, is the big one that I'm most excited for. It's the new offensive coordinator with Drew Petzing at 38 years old, coming over from Arizona. What is this Lions offense going to look like this year? Him replacing John Morton, which was a complete disaster. Dan Campbell takes over as play caller last year at some point. Now that Dan Campbell gets to go back to being a head coach and being a guy that is playing point guard, letting these other guys go for it, how is this going to benefit the Lions team with Petzing there? I don't think he can be the next Ben Johnson, but still, finding out things of what this offense is going to look like this week at OTAs is got to be the thing I'm most excited for. This is a 9.5 out of 10. Number 2, the defensive changes. This is something that Ben has continuously harped on, that he wants to see this Lions movement to a more speedy defense. They, of course, played a 3 linebacker set last year. Losing Alex Anzalone, does that potentially bring in another nickel? Can you bring in another secondary player to get faster on defense, to help guard the guys coming out of the backfield better, to send more creative blitz packages? That is an exciting one, but it is still the same guy in charge of the defense and Kelvin Shepard. So I don't know how much I'm actually looking for that to be a real change, especially with the secondary questions that they have right now with Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, even Terrion Arnold. So I would say about a 5 out of 10 there. Number 3, the tackle spots. This has got to be up there. It's your first-round pick, and it's your best player. Penei Sewell and Blake Miller. Penei moving over to the left tackle spot. Blake Miller inserted on the right side. What does Sewell look like playing left tackle for the first time since college? I assume amazing still, but I'm very excited for that. Rookie roles is number 4. Obviously, we just talked about Jimmy Rolder, who comes in, and you have Blake Miller, who we know what his role is going to be like. But all these other guys that were picked on day 2 and Derek Moore, and then day 3 down the line. What does Keith Abney's role look like, the cornerback at Arizona State? Derek Moore, of course, out of Michigan. Is he going to be an every down edge rusher, or is he going to be a third down edge rusher for this team? Can he stop the run? Is he going to be good enough to compete with the other guys in that group, and DJ Wanham and Levi Onwuzurike? So seeing how much this limited rookie class plays for the Lions is something that I necessarily don't know the answer for, because there was not a lot of rookies in this class for them. I think that Moore obviously is going to be the one that most people are looking at this week in OTAs, but I'm excited for the guys that were picked on the board as well. And then finally, second-year gains. This is obviously talking about the players from year 1 to year 2. Tate Ratledge is the big name there. Tyleik Williams, how much of a bigger role is he going to have this year? So those are all things that we are looking out for at Lions OTAs this week. All right, this is the Ben Bosscher Show. Without Ben Bosscher, it's with Kyle Sandel and Brad Tunney. We're going to get back into the Tigers because they finally won a game, but it came at the loss of 2 of their more important right-handed arms in Casey Mize and Kenley Jansen. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get to the news, part 2 with Brad, and then we'll close the show here on a Thursday, live in the Blazy Electric Studios here at Dow Diamond.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by...
11 o'clock hour here on the Ben Bosscher Show, presented to you by Yaxel Insurance. Life happens fast, and Yaxel Insurance Group is here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yaxel has the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That's the Yaxel Insurance Group. They'll be there when you need them since 1940. All right, so we've been talking about the Tigers. They finish up their series with the Angels today, Game 3, 110, just in about 2 hours. We'll see if Colt Keith gets pinch hit for once again against a left-handed pitcher, despite his replacements being, 140 average hitters. They pick up a win last night in an impressive outing from the pitching staff. Just 2 hits allowed. Drew Anderson, we got to give him props because we hate on him a lot on this show. When he does good, we have to give him that prop as well. He came in multiple innings of relief and was very good. But the reason he came in early was because Casey Mize goes out with an injury. Kenley Jansen goes out with an injury. Both right groin injuries. Neither of them looked extremely concerning, but, it doesn't matter at this point with the way that the Tigers season has gone. Any injury that happens is just added on to an added-on match to a fire that's already been burning for weeks now. And it feels like everything comes at a cost with this team at this point. When they do win games, it comes with this. The other night, their offense is finally starting to shine. Wenzel Perez has a home run, and you're like, oh, man, Wenzel Perez, he's coming back. And then he makes one of the worst plays you've ever seen out in right field. Like, everything comes with a caveat with this Tigers group right now. And it goes back to what we have been talking about all day, whereas are you going to be a Tigers fan that is blaming what has happened right now this season on the injuries? Because everybody's gotten hurt. Tarek Skubal, the second he went down, they have won like 5 games. It has been brutal ever since Skubal went down. You add in Kerry Carpenter. You add in Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, Mize twice, Kenley Jansen, Vest had some time on the IL, blah, 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 blah. You can keep going about all the injuries. And are you going to blame the season on that? Or are you going to be like I was at the beginning of the show and say, hey, even when everybody was healthy, the only guy that was hurt was Parker Meadows, and we're not counting Jackson Jobe or Reese Olson because those are things we knew coming into the season. This team was 14-12 at its best this year. And when you zoom out and go back to last year, because the only guys that weren't on this team last year are Kenley Jansen, who's been, he's been whatever. Framber Valdez, who I still love the signing. Let's not act like Framber Valdez has been an all-star pitcher for the Tigers this year. He's got a north of 4 ERA in the most innings pitched on the team. And Kevin McGonigal is the addition, which that's the big one. That's the one thing that, okay, yeah, they should be way better than they were last year because they've added one of the best hitters on the team. But when you zoom out into a larger sample size, you go to their last 125 games, they're 50-75. That's nearly a full season. So I'm going to choose to believe that the fluke that has happened has not been the injuries that have been sustained with this team. No, the fluke was actually all of their mid-tier players overperforming at the beginning of 2025, turning themselves into all-stars and fooling us that, hey, the Tigers are good. This is a good team. Now, would have they been good enough to still win this division with all the injuries not happening this year? I still believe that. Yeah, they're 14-12. Like, that 2 games above 500 can win you this division. That's how terrible it is. And so you fall victim to the being blinded by this bad division when you say, okay, all you got to do is win the division. You can get into the playoffs, and then anything can happen from there with this pitching staff. Unfortunately, that's the same approach that this front office took, and it comes back to what Brad and I closed the Tiger segment earlier to. Is there more to blame on Scott Harris, or is there more to blame on A.J. Hinch? Because A.J. Hinch brings back or comes to every single game managing the same way he would as if this team was a 90-win team, if this team was 20 games above 500. He's going to make the pinch hits, taking guys out of the game early. He's going to make all of those little tiny decisions throughout a game because that's his style. That is the way that he manages games. The issue is when the team is terrible, it doesn't matter. All of those decisions that you're making are, what are we doing taking out Colt Keith for Jahmai Jones? Situations like that. But that's how A.J. Hinch manages, whether it's a good or a bad team. And this is the first time we're really seeing him do that with this team, this version of this team at least, that has been terrible. Whereas if you point it to Scott Harris, they didn't acquire any offense this offseason. They decided to spend. They gave the Tigers fans the, oh, look, we brought back Justin Verlander. Everyone's super excited about that, which I was. I was so excited. We've only seen him once. I really want to see him back because he had a live BP session yesterday, which was pretty cool. He was pitching against Gleyber Torres as well. But that's just the thing. It was the coolness of it. The starting rotation was great. They didn't add any offense to this group that couldn't get a single base hit in 6 innings of the biggest game of all of their lives last year against Seattle. Gary in our YouTube chat says, Harris has assembled a team of complementary players and no veteran studs, all role players and no adults in the dugout. It does feel like a team full of role players, Brad. I think that's probably the best way of putting it, that Kevin McGonigal can be your superstar, but is he your superstar enough right now to get you to that spot of elevating from playoff team to World Series contending team?
Well, again, a team of role players, sure, but a team of role players that had stars, and yet the stars are either underperforming relative to the value that they were assigned with or hurt. If your stars are Framber Valdez and Tarek Skubal, and Valdez is having the worst year of his decade, and Tarek Skubal is hurt, then the team of role players becomes a team that is below average. And did you happen to see the text that we got last night from Contrarian in our text chat? That said,
I did, yes.
Ben, please tell me this is not happening. Mai's hurt again. It just can't get much worse. Been a therapist for some of these guys.
He must be, yeah.
Also says the Chargers are bolts of lightning, so good luck against that. That's correct. I still go back to a roster that was built that we thought was worthy of a World Series run this year. Considering it was a team that, won a wild card a season ago that was in the bottom 10 of spending. They now become a team in the top 10 of spending with a bunch of signings that we liked, Kenley and Framber, and yet the injuries have decimated this group. I think it's, again, like I stated in the 9 o'clock hour, a little bit of revisionist history to look at a team that was unanimously picked to win the division for the most part, a top 10 World Series odds contender across books and across MLB outlets, to have a majority of the team, not just a handful of guys, underperform relative to career performance. I think the closest point to make here is that most of those guys, relative to career performance, were just overachieving for a majority of the last 2 to 3 seasons. Wenzel Perez, Zach McKinstry, I think, being the 10-pole examples of this. Yeah. McKinstry and Perez last year both being in the 700s of an OPS, their careers being around that because the careers have been short, and now falling into unplayable characters, like guys that probably would not be hitting in Double-A right now. They've been so bad. I just can't look past that. And then I can't look past a rotation that came in as one of the 5 best in all of Major League Baseball. Again, unanimously, consensus. Yeah. Probably at the 2nd best rotation in the AL, if not the 3rd. And losing the top 4 arms in that rotation effectively. Framber basically just via regression to an output that he has not seen in his entire career.
And that might just be a consequence of everyone else around him getting injured, and now he is viewed as the ace. And at one point, he was the only healthy pitcher. And what happened the time when he was the only healthy pitcher? He freaked out and threw a ball at a guy and got suspended a game. Yeah, that just perfectly describes what is going on with this Tigers season. It is the season from hell. They're having it. And now, what were your expectations coming into it? That is how you really can view if you have confidence after all these injuries are done, if they're going to do it. But I'm seeing a lot of talk about a culture with this Tigers team. And look, we all know that the culture of the Tigers organization has been a dumpster fire over the last several years with everything that has happened off the field. But just from an on-the-field product, it does feel like Kevin saying in our YouTube chat, there doesn't seem to be an emotional culture leader, including the manager, A.J. Hinch. The losses are concerning, but the apathetic attitude of the franchise is equally as depressing. Depressing is the best way to put it. That's exactly how this season feels. Watching last night's game, when they win, you got 2 arms getting injured. It is just depressing every single time you watch this team. It's May 28th. It's not post-trade deadline. It's not August when we've given up on the season.
I go both ways. So the next comment from Kevin there is, who's the Cade Cunningham in the clubhouse, essentially, and then quoting, we're not 2-26 bad, no way.
What a quote.
Which again, when hopefully the Pistons win a championship, like that is looked back on as a franchise-turning moment for the star and Hall of Famer of an organization. I don't know who that guy is in your clubhouse. Maybe it's in there, but I think that's where the difference between a baseball clubhouse and a fan base gets lost in how long the season is.
Right. 100%.
Ben did a decent job on Tuesday stating the season is not lost yet, and that's correct. it is hard for a fan base to swallow that, though, when they're looking at it every single day, and you've gone from a team that was 14-12 to 21-34 or whatever it is now. Like, the clubhouse doesn't feel the losses the way the fans do, oddly enough. The clubhouse sees a season that is not even a third of the way done yet. The fans see a season that is done.
Yeah.
And like, that discrepancy in perspective is the farthest between a fan base and the actual locker room in baseball. It's way farther apart than it is in basketball, football, or hockey because of the length of season and because of like the ADHD that a fan base tends to have. And it's exasperated in a baseball season. Again, no excuse. I also think the season is pretty close to done. The other part of this is like the team itself sees the season in totality. The fan base sees it as pre-deadline, which is much closer than a full baseball season.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you have to make a decision on guys like Kyle Finnegan, like Tarek Skubal.
Casey Mize, even if he's healthy.
Like Casey
that's
Mize, if he's healthy. Yes, like, you have to make decisions on those guys because then it alters what you are down the road. Players like Zach McKinstry don't really care about what this franchise looks like 2 years from now, probably, because they might not be on the team post-deadline.
Yeah, they're trying to keep their major league career going on.
He's playing like he deserves to be DFA'd. So is Wenzel Perez. But they don't have the bodies to DFA them. So, like, they don't necessarily care if there's a Finnegan trade coming. They care about the totality of a 162-game season, which then becomes the most frustrating part when Wenzel Perez posts his home run 5 times on Instagram the other day, because he does probably see it as a 160-game season. Brother, you're the worst player in the sport. Like there was heat back and forth on Twitter.
I saw a lot of people defending Perez for that, by the way, or going at people that were calling out Perez for the Instagram post thing.
Yeah, you know what sucks is, like, then I go see what he makes, and it's like, okay, he's not like a multi-million-dollar guy, whatever. But it's also like, dude,
there has to be some sort of self-recognition.
All of us face public repercussions or internal repercussions at our workplace. And the one that you face more so as a professional baseball player is when you piss away a baseball game, you don't get to pimp your home run 5 times on Instagram. That's like the one bit of accountability you have as a baseball player. The same way we all are held accountable internally at our places of work. Yours is, don't piss away the baseball game, have no leadership in your clubhouse, have a failing organization, and then pimp your home run 5 times. Like, I think that's okay to be held accountable to, and not have other fans that then cater to, well, like, he's a long-tenured guy, and, he's trying his best. F off.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Like, we're allowed to hold baseball players accountable. It's the piece of accountability.
It comes with making the money.
Yes, it comes with making the money, us spending the money. The same way you're held accountable at your job, theirs is just a bit more public because of the product of your job.
100%. And it makes it even worse when AJ Hinch, goes to the presser and he does play he kind of has to. He's the manager of the team, but he plays it's a long season card. And Wenzel Perez, he's our guy, and we trust him out there in that spot. Like, he's always going to defend his players, sure, but at some point there has to be some sort of accountability from anyone for what's going on, rather than just playing the blame game with the injuries. Because I do think it's gotten to that point. You can sit here and say, well, when the guys get healthy. Benetti was talking about this on the broadcast last night. There is no more when the players get healthy. That's over.
I was about to say, I've got the quote right now, because I think it's a good one, framing perspective, similar to what we just did there, like players relative to fans. So Benetti, the quote is, if the Tigers had no luck, they'd have better luck in the injury department so far this year.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd had zero luck, they'd have better luck than they have so far this year.
Yeah, it's been way worse than better.
He continues on, and I know the way that sounds, right? I know when you hear about injuries, it's not a team that's 10 games over 500, obviously. There is a fine line between excuse and reality, though. But, at some point, you would like to have something resembling of what you expected your major league roster to look like. And I don't think this is even resembling what you expected your major league roster to look like. No, it's not.
The bottom half of this lineup on an everyday basis is all guys that were not a part of the day one roster.
Correct. And unfortunately, is it because some of the expectations of those guys should just not have been an expectation for an everyday lineup? Sure. They didn't do enough in the lineup. You shouldn't have to be counting on Wenzel Perez, Zach McKinstry, Javier Baez, who's hurt right now, Parker Meadows, who's again hurt, Zach Short, Gage Workman. You shouldn't have to rely on all those guys, but you do. On the pitching side, it just doesn't resemble your major league offense or your roster coming into the season. It doesn't. And to Benetti's point, I think that's a tough pill to swallow. And there is a fine line between excuse and reality.
Yeah, I thought it was really – I'm happy you had that quote pulled up because Benetti, they spent a whole half inning on this last night, him and Dirks just essentially talking about – it was right after the Mize injury. Just saying it's hard to balance being upset about the injuries but also realizing, like, hey, there's no more staying afloat. The staying afloat conversations were had 3 weeks ago when Skubal initially went down. At this point, they have to start winning games.
Yeah, 50 games into a baseball season is sink or swim.
Yes. There's no more, okay, can we go 500 for the next month when everyone's back? No. They have to win 8 of their next 10, and then after that, they got to follow it up with 7 of their next 10. Like
the Mets had this conversation 30 games into the season, right? Like, it was sink or swim.
They had it extremely early, yes.
Yeah, 30 games into the year. You're having it 50. Like, it's not too early to have the sink or swim conversation.
And you could go on a Philadelphia Phillies run where they were the worst team in all of baseball at the beginning of the season. Boom, they're 2 games above 500 right now. But it took a manager change. It took a firing to get them some sort of spark. And I'm not saying that's what the Tigers need, but they need something. And because the staying afloat conversation that we had initially when Skubal went down, that's done. And it has to start turning into win streaks and some sort of accountability. And a lot of the things that you need to win, the Tigers are not resembling on the field right now. So it's hard to get any sort of confidence with that happening. 989-837-6125. We'll come back and finish this Tigers conversation, and then we will close out the show with, of course, the news, and we will have our, how many traditions is it nowadays? I think like 15 traditions to close the Ben Bosscher Show with Kyle Sandel and Brad Tunney today. We're live on 100.9 The Mid. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure to give us a subscribe over there. Nothing pairs better, though, with game day than an ice-cold Yingling. Whether you're locked in for kickoff, tip-off, or the final inning, it's got that crisp, smooth taste that just hits right. Kind of like your team when they're firing on all cylinders. Hopefully the Tigers can do that today and finally win a series. It's one of those simple game day staples. You've got your crew, the TV's up loud, and something cold in your hand. You are all set. Another round of Yingling, and now it really feels like game day.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap up this Tigers conversation just by going over what has been the most disappointing part of this season, because we've been talking about it all year long, or all show long. Everybody is underperforming this year. You can name every position group, hitting, pitching, fielding, all of the above. Outside of Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal, going healthy players only, so I guess I can't count Casey Mize, and probably Dylan Dingler, everybody else has underperformed. So what has been actually the most disappointing part? There are several options. I think the top thing, though, has to be the back end of this bullpen, just from a disappointment factor. The most concerning part of the team coming into the year was the middle of the bullpen. We didn't really know what innings 5 through 7 were going to look like if a starter couldn't go, and we were told immediately, whether it was Emmanuel De Jesus or it was Drew Anderson, blah, blah, blah. Those guys did not have it early in the year. But the back end of the bullpen has got to be the most disappointing part of this year for the team. When Brad was talking about, well, this is as a whole, as a staff, this pitching unit was picked to be atop of all of baseball this year. That was because they had a big three in the back of their bullpen. Well, that big three looks like the big three the Brooklyn Nets had after they made the trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. I mean, Kenley Jansen, tied for the most blown saves in baseball. Feels like sour grapes to talk crap about him today, because he got injured last night. Really hoping he can come back. I know we're saying he's bad. They obviously need him. Kyle Finnegan right behind him. He's got 3 blown saves this season. Okay. And then Will Vest has the highest ERA of all of them, nearly an 8 ERA during the season this year. I mean, those were guys down the stretch last year, not even including Kenley because he wasn't on the team. Finnegan and Vest, like, that made everyone positive about the Scott Harris trade deadline. That took away everybody being upset about, well, they didn't get a single bat at the deadline, because Finnegan was awesome. He was great for the Tigers once they acquired him. Once they figured out, okay, we can't pitch Will Vest in the 8th inning, actually. For some reason, he has a stigma to the 8th inning. He can only be the 7th or 9th inning guy. They really had a great combo at the end of games. And now you add Kenley Jansen into that group, one of the better closers of our lifetime. One of the best ever, not just of our lifetime. He's top 3 in saves. Like, you felt like this was going to be a major strength of this team and why you felt confident in it. And yet it has been maybe the biggest weakness, if not one of the biggest weaknesses of this team so far. That would be one of my biggest disappointments so far for this squad, Brad.
I think that's the correct kind of positioning of where the disappointment is because of the expectation put on it.
Right. And it takes away the injury factor. Like, I could obviously say, oh, the offense sucks. Of course it does. It has Zach Short batting in it every day. Like,
yeah, now it does, correct.
You know, like, so it's doing a non-injury approach. I feel like it's got to be the back end of the bullpen.
Yes. And yet I'm like jaded or somehow traumatized by what this bullpen has been for even this run during the Scott Harris era. Like, I look at a team that, again, if they could just hit, they would have a chance coming into the year. And like saying if they could just hit, they'd have a chance. They're like not coming close to that, and that's why they're struggling, plus the injuries. But I look at guys that are having, again, unplayable seasons. Wenzel Perez and Zach McKinstry in particular. I don't know how you go from, let's not even call Zach McKinstry an all-star, right? He was a
fill-in utility all-star, yeah. But like, still, like, he was an everyday quality player for the Tigers.
I still don't know how you go from like an average, a replacement level player in the big leagues to overnight being someone that probably couldn't hit in AA right now.
Could he hit here?
You don't know. Like, if you're hitting in the 4s in the big leagues, that is not competitive baseball.
Wenzel Perez hit a home run the other night, and his OPS got raised to 480. It went up to 480.
That is a major disappointment because it forces you, no different than in any other sport. Like, if your left tackle sucks in football and you have an expectation on that, and now you have to move your right tackle to left tackle, and now you're playing a guy out of position, plus your right tackle is a replacement level player, like, it screws up the whole line with one guy who is diminished on your line. In the NBA, if your primary rolling big man is struggling, it diminishes what your primary ball handler can do. Like, right. There are certain things that then trigger side effects that create plagues within a sports team. And I think when you have 2 to 3 guys that all you're asking them to be is like 10% worse than replacement level. Like, you don't even have to be a 0 WAR average baseball player. Be 10% worse than that, and you can't do it. That unlocks so many other side effects about your team, because then
you can never get a lead in a game. And then you add that into the fact that, okay, this team has the most blown leads in baseball, so anytime that you even do get a good lead, it's probably not even going to be held up.
And then the psyche, the chemistry, and the confidence of your team when you know that half of your lineup can't get on base, like, that has side effects. That triggers other things that are wrong with your baseball team. And so just to play devil's advocate to what is, I think the most disappointing thing, which is probably the back end of the bullpen, I still think when you have guys that you're counting on to be staples of your lineup, not even being able to hit at a AA or AAA level right now, I think that is ultimately where the biggest disappointment falls. Because then it triggers down to, you can't then swallow a disappointing Spencer Torkelson season, which you get basically every other year beyond the starts of the season. Like, you can't stomach that any longer. You can't stomach Colt Keith being a below replacement level hitter. You can't stomach Matt Vierling basically being on the verge of retirement at 29 years old.
Yeah, and he's your everyday center fielder.
Right now. Like, because Vierling's the other guy to add to this list with Wenzel and McKinstry.
100%.
Like, you can't stomach those things. You can't stomach, like, even Dylan Dingler, who I think's been really good. Like, to harp on Dylan Dingler at all, but also Dingler's now 27 years old, and, like, has there really been a jump offensively this year relative to last year?
The power has jumped 100% just because of early, like how many homers he had early in the season.
The walk rate is up, but, like, overall, the OPS plus is up like 10 points. He's like a 10% better hitter.
Yeah, which is, like, for this team, a major victory.
It's great. I would like to see a little more in what now is his first full offseason in the big leagues, like, coming into this year. I don't know. I look at the offense and taking guys that cannot even perform at replacement level or even 10 to 20% worse than that, and thinking that creates so many other side effects on your team. And I look at McKinstry and Wenzel in particular.
Yeah, just not big league players right now. A fun stat that I found, which kind of diminished the whole point of, well, the injuries aren't the reason that they're bad, so that's why I didn't really share it that much. But it is fun nonetheless. May 4th, the day that Tarek Skubal goes out, it was that Monday against the Boston Red Sox. The Tigers were 500. They were 18-18, but they were 8th in OPS in baseball. All of baseball, they were a top 8 team in OPS as a team.
Way.
That's unbelievable, right?
There's just no way.
They are 26th in baseball currently with a 685 OPS. 26. They went from 8 to 26 in less than a month. That's how bad it's been.
Their team OPS right now is what? What do you have it at?
685.
685. Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Like, and the issue is, like, Torkelson is a negative WAR guy right now. He's actually a positive OPS plus guy. Like, his OPS is higher than league average. Somehow, buoyed by the 8 homers, the 12 doubles, and everything else. But he has an above average OPS relative to your team.
2 doubles and a home run last night.
Correct.
So, like, his
the
OPS
was 700
before last night.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's mind boggling how bad the offense has been.
All because Tarek Skubal went out.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's the craziest part. It's not like Javi Baez was some amazing hitter. Gleyber Torres was a solid piece of the lineup. They didn't lose Riley Green and Kevin McGonigal. Like, what happened? How did the team OPS go from 8th in all of baseball, which 730 being 8th is kind of crazy. It was early in the year still, all the way down to 26th? It's unbelievable. All right, let's stop talking about the Tigers. I'm
making
sick
me sad,
of them.
man.
Yeah, I'm sick of them as well. They did get a win last night, but obviously it was not in the way that you would like with all the injuries. We are going to get into the news next. If you're looking for a steady hand when it comes to your financial future, Kevin Spencer with Edward Jones is right here in our community. He takes the time to understand what matters most to you and helps build a stronger strategy to get you there. Reach out to Kevin Spencer at Edward Jones today, because your goals deserve a plan that's personal. We've got 20 more minutes here with
How
you
many minutes?
on this Thursday. 20 more. We're going to get to the news. We're going to get to our traditions to close every show, and then we will kick you off for the rest of your Thursday. Let's do that now by hitting the mid-morning catch.
That wasn't bad.
The
Wasn't
Mets
bad.
Morning Catch.
Got into it pretty quickly. Now can you get into the YouTube pretty quickly?
The YouTube. What YouTube?
Okay.
Oh, the YouTube. Right. They had the live stream. Hold on.
The platform that we stream this on.
Pause.
And then whenever you're done with that, you can also lower the music
volume?
a little bit. Yep.
Hold on. Put myself live here. The mid-morning catch. Right, but the second mid-morning catch.
Second
because
rendition.
of carbless. Yep.
Much more improved this time around. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What do I have saved for this edition of the mid-morning catch? We already went over it a couple of times already, right? Tigers 4-0 win yesterday. They start at 110 today. Jack Flaherty on the mound. Jeremy Fears withdrew from the draft. He's back for his senior season at MSU. Kyle's excited.
I would have cried on the show today
That's
if he
right.
left. Would have
Kirk
cried.
Gibson birthday today, 69 years old.
Happy birthday. Nice.
One thing we didn't discuss about the Tigers, Justin Verlander, 66 pitches over 4 innings during a live batting practice simulated game yesterday. Reportedly, quote, no issues. Hit 95 miles an hour late in that pitch count. He did it in the 4th inning. Again, he threw 4 continuous innings. He was recovering from that hip injury, of course. 66 pitches over 4 injuries. The velo's up late in the outing. All things are looking better.
Yeah, this is really big news, actually, because every Verlander update that we have gotten over the last couple weeks has just been negative. It's been bad every single time, so it's nice to get the good one. I would assume a rehab start is coming relatively soon in the minor leagues for Justin Verlander, especially, 66 pitches, live bullpen. What comes after that?
67.
Right, yeah. So hopefully he gets a live BP, or a rehab start after this live BP. It sounds like Gleyber Torres was taking at-bats against him as well, which is a good sign because we got a tough update on him and Javi Baez earlier this week. So good updates all around for everyone, including Tarek Skubal as well.
The other Tigers update we didn't get into yet was a trade from yesterday just after the show.
Oh, so they must have traded for some offense since
That's
their
right.
offense is
That's
so bad,
right? Connor Siebold is being traded out of the bullpen for the Tigers to the Jays for minor league left-hander Juanmi Vasquez. Siebold was DFA'd Sunday in expectation of the return of Troy Melton. Siebold, actually was kind of effective at limited sample
he
this
pitched
year.
a couple innings for them.
Yeah.
What was this guy's name they traded for?
Juanmi Vasquez.
Oh, well, Wami not excited about that trade.
Oh,
because,
Juanmi.
who cares?
It is a who cares. It's a DFA assignment. The Blue Jays jumped ahead on waivers here and gave up a high A pitcher who has a mid-5s ERA.
Oh, so this guy might be pitching for the Whitecaps.
Correct. Yeah, he's in high A with a 5 ERA and throws a ton of walks. Siebold was with the Jays, I think, during spring training, so they were like, hey, we'll jump in
We'll
waivers, get him. He did have a 3.4 ERA in 16 innings for the Tigers.
With, their bullpen having tough problems right now. Maybe Siebold could have been something. Gary does say good they got anything for that guy.
That is true.
So, sure, I guess.
But when you
something.
say anything, they basically got a bag of peanuts. They got a new hot dog hawker.
Yeah, they got a guy who the Loons would crush if he pitched against him.
That's
this
correct.
week.
Yep. Emil Morales would take him deep multiple times.
Easy.
Unlike yesterday when the Loons unfortunately lost in a walk-off bunt squeeze play.
A bunt.
Yeah, there's a balk into a squeeze play.
I feel like I take a little bit of responsibility for that one.
I think we all do. The radio
John.
was down for a little while, drove out to the transmitter site, and it turned on. Within a minute of that play happening, it was terrible.
Yeah, I turned on the game during the 9th inning, and and then that happened. So a little bit of responsibility there. Loons back in action tonight, and it will be on the radio on the Mint. I'm going to guarantee that, Brad.
You're guaranteeing it,
Yep,
right?
at 6:50 pregame, you can listen to John.
That's right. We talked about a little bit of the MLBPA's first formal proposal to the CBA talks with Major League Baseball yesterday. There's a lot on that at ESPN from Jeff Passan. Obviously, again, owners want a salary cap. Players want a salary floor. The owners are going to be putting together their first formal proposal today. This will likely drag through the offseason and hopefully doesn't force a work stoppage before that. Last time a salary cap was really on the table was in 1994. There was a stoppage of almost 300 days that led to the cancellation of the World Series, yada, yada.
Do you have any prediction on what's going to happen here? as far as if there will be a lockout, if a salary cap /4 will actually come into play, like who
I
has
think it
who has
ends
the
up
leverage
landing,
on this side?
I mean, you're aware of like the cap situation or finances in the NBA probably better than most listeners. I think we end up landing in a scenario that's similar to the NBA, where there is a tax structure, no hard cap, because the players will just simply not go play. There won't be a hard cap in the sport, but there will be a tax structure that with a salary floor. I think the players are ultimately in a better leverage situation here. I think they're also just coming at it with a better strategic approach than just like, hey, we want a salary cap so we don't have to spend anymore. And also, by the way, we're still revenue sharing and also all these other things that don't make sense for the consumer. And I think most fans are pro player anyway and not pro billionaire.
I would assume so.
Like,
It'd be
you would
kind of a
hope
shame
so.
if you weren't. Yeah.
So I think we land on a tax structure that resembles that of the NBA, but is more diluted, obviously, because it'll be new.
Right.
There will be a salary floor.
But will there be a tax for teams that don't hit the salary floor? Like,
yes,
is that
I
going
think
to
the
be
salary
in play
floor
as
has
well?
got to be something like $100 million, and then there's going to be a tax if you don't spend like to $125 million.
Yeah.
Or there will be something where like the floor is $100 million, the tax starts at 125 or 150, and if you're within that tax, you don't actually pay any more money. You just don't get the revenue share.
Yeah, because if you had to pay extra money, then why would you not just pay that money on a player to get to that number?
So instead, you just won't get the same revenue dividends or share from the high-end teams. I think it'll be interesting to see how much baseball and Rob Manfred, though, references the Dodgers as the scapegoat here.
Sounds like he already is, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did. They directly stated the Dodgers, which I think are the big bad wolves for a lot of fan bases. I would just again challenge those fan bases to look at their own ownerships and wonder why they're spending $400 million less than the Dodgers, not why the Dodgers are able to spend that much. And then I think what also has to come out of this a little bit is an answer to these deferred money deals.
That is probably the reason. I think that is probably the issue that fans have a problem with the Dodgers, rather than them spending, because the people that own the Dodgers, people that own Cleveland are still billionaires at the end of the day. Like that part of it doesn't matter. But yeah, the deferred money part of everything is probably
they've got to figure
concern.
that out for both players and owners,
because
and for the
if
fans.
that still exists, then it's not
None
really
of it
going to
really
change.
matters.
Yeah, it's not really going to change what the Dodgers and Mets do.
Now, the response to this is that deferred dollars will count against the cap. Will count against whatever this payroll system is. That while you can defer payments, the actual money will be counted in the year that it takes place. I think that's one option. I mean, similar conversation needs to be had about void years in the NFL right now. Like the Eagles have been doing this for 5 seasons now, getting ready with void years, and now the Lions are. Jack Campbell, a great example of this. Like at some point, you've got to eliminate these void years, these deferred years, all these like little loopholes that basically make your cap a joke and fake. So there's that. Other, let's see. Kirby Smart once again vocalizes SEC potential desire to break away from the SEC. Right now, the discrepancy here is that the Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, and Notre Dame are all on board to expand to 24 teams in the college football playoff. The SEC is not. And the SEC is positioning itself in that, like, we really don't want this. At least half of the schools don't. The higher-end schools don't, obviously. We'll just do our own thing. We'll crown a national champion. And we'll let the country decide who the real national champion is. When Georgia plays Alabama in the SEC championship and we call it the national championship, will fans just say that and agree with that? Or will they agree that, like, I don't know.
That's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, this is this is something that has been coming in college football for quite some time. Ben talks about this a lot, about the Big Ten and the SEC forming the super conferences. Basically, all the big schools from the Big 12, ACC would join one of the two, and they would split off and say, you know what, the NCAA, we're out. We're doing our own thing. We don't need this organization that everyone views so poorly. We're going to do things on our own. This would be a big-time issue if it was just the SEC that was doing this, though, and not the Big Ten, especially because the SEC has like been the weak point of this whole conversation. They are the conference that are like, some of us want it, some of us don't.
Yeah, they're not aligned. They're not unified.
Correct.
Yeah.
All the other conferences are. The Big Ten, they all want the 24. I disagree. I don't want it. At least they all believe that, though. Whereas with the SEC, they're still up in the air. So it's interesting to hear Kirby Smart finally say this, because this is an obvious thing that we knew was coming, but no one had really vocalized it yet. And from one of the bigger name coaches in all of the sport to say it, It's not the best sign in the world for college football.
I don't think there's anything I hate more than
College football.
Well, yeah, and mostly, I think the expansion of the college football playoff is one of the worst things that's happening in all of sports landscapes right now. Like, the absolute worst thing.
Yes.
The diminishment of the regular season for college football is like an absolute travesty to the sport. Like, the expansion of the college basketball postseason also sucks beyond what it is right now, which I think is pretty close to perfect at 64
it's a perfect
68
product,
teams.
man.
Yeah, it really is. And now, like, how do you fill out brackets from Selection Sunday? Like, there's all of these issues that turn into making it a much tougher consumer product. I think, like, the NBA not having honest discussions about shortening their season absolutely sucks. Like, it is a massive failure. I think the NFL expanding their seasons
they're going to add
even
another
more
game, and they're playing games in Australia and here
absolutely
and on Tuesday.
sucks.
And, yeah.
Like, all of these money grabs from owners in particular that force the hands of their commissioners mega suck. And 50 years from now, who knows what they look like? Maybe they'll just all keep winning and nothing will matter. But right now it sucks. 25 years from now, who knows what it looks like?
Yeah. And hopefully this can just be an era that we look back on as like the era that stunk.
And that the sports bubble eventually pops of like expansion. Like the NBA wants more teams, same length of season. Major League Baseball wants expansion, same length of season, more playoff teams. There reaches a point where more is not better, and I think we're there basically across the board.
100%.
Last thing to get to, Covenant Healthcare, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Annual Report, mentioned it earlier, Casey Mize, Kenley Jansen down. I did want to mention one last thing here. Christopher Sanchez, 4 scoreless yesterday for the Phillies. He's a runner-up for the Cy Young yesterday. He's their ace. 44 2/3 scoreless now, which broke a record, Kyle, that stood in the Phillies franchise for 115 years for the scoreless innings
in a row.
44 2/3 scoreless innings in a row for a starter, no less, not a reliever. Broke a 115-year record that dates back to 1911.
Oh my goodness!
By Grover Cleveland Alexander. 44 2/3 innings, a long time,
like
man.
Grover Cleveland, the president.
No, the pitcher in 1911.
Yeah, but isn't that the name of the president though?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. He broke that record yesterday with 4 scoreless. Good for him. That's
Did you see
really
Ohtani
cool.
yesterday too? By the way, Ohtani just continues to do marvelous things. He went 6 innings hitless, 0 hits through 6 innings, 7 Ks. Oh, by the way, he also hit a home run in the same exact game.
He's pretty good, man. He's
Guy's
pretty
unbelievable.
Good. Yeah.
All right, let's. Thank you, Brad, for the news. Kevin says Brad Tunney for Sports Czar. I think Bill Simmons already kind of has that job written up if it ever became a thing.
Yeah, my godfather.
Hey, if you're looking for a move, meet Matt Smith of Modern Realty, redefining real estate with a fresh, modern approach. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, Matt Smith delivers personalized service tailored to you. Cutting-edge marketing, local expertise, and a commitment to making your real estate experience smooth and successful. From cozy starter homes to luxury properties, they know how to find the perfect fit. Trust the team that combines innovation with real-world know-how. That's Matt Smith, Modern Realty. We will close things shortly here on the Ben Bosscher Show next.
The Ben Bosscher Show.
We've only got a couple minutes left here on the Ben Bosscher Show on a Thursday, so let's get right into it. We've got 3 traditions to close every single show. The first of those traditions is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, I'm kind of spoiling what is going to be the next tradition here with this one. But I'm going to the NBA game tonight. Duh.
Oh.
Game 6, Thunder Spurs. It's a big one back in San Antonio. I really thought I don't know who wins this game. We'll talk about this next in the game of the day. I thought about going with Shea to score 30, but the value wasn't great. And I think tonight is going to be a bounce back game from Stephon Castle. So I am actually going to go with Stephon Castle over 17.5 points tonight. This is at minus 106. It's back in San Antonio. It feels like the Spurs have responded pretty well every time that the Thunder win. I don't know if that's going to happen as a whole tonight, but Steph Castle's going to bring it. So he is going to be my my pick tonight. 18 points, minus 106. What do you think, Brad?
Fading.
He's fading it, of course, because the producer usually fades.
Fading.
It usually works out. Okay, that's our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Now it's the game of the day.
Game of the day.
Forgot about the sounder for that one?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a newer tradition. We add traditions a lot to the show.
Game of the day.
Yep, there it is. I really like that one. Okay, game of the day, obviously, is Thunder Spurs. Game 6, 8:30 tonight. San Antonio.
Jack Flaherty in an hour?
Nope. Nope, it's not that guy. It's not the fart noise. Spurs minus 3.5 at 8:30 on NBC. Who's winning tonight, Brad? Does this series go to 7? We've been asking for it to go to 7. Is it gonna?
Oh, man. I would like to see it go to 7. I have a feeling this is a Thunder victory tonight. Who's favored?
Also do.
Is it Spurs
Spurs
like
by
2.5?
3.5.
3.5.
I also think the Thunder win tonight, sadly.
Yep.
Okay, that's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
Does he know the next tradition? Before guessing Collins Open.
Back to you guys.
Close enough. Okay, let's get to guessing Collins Open. Brad, you're the guest today. We're not going to count this towards the regular score. I'll let you go first. You've also got like 40 seconds.
Got a lot of options here. Does he go LeBron, Cleveland rumors? That was mentioned in our chat right now. We could also go MLB PA negotiations. He could then also go Kirby Smart SEC. I'm going to go Kirby Smart SEC comments.
That feels proper. It's been J-Mac the last 2 days. Forgot to note that. I probably should have
If it's
told you that.
J-Mac today, I'm going LeBron, Cleveland.
Okay, I think it is J-Mac today, so I'll let you take the LeBron Cleveland take.
Okay.
I'm going to go with just saying the Spurs are winning tonight. I'll just go with the Wemby take, kind of previewing tonight's game. Okay, no show tomorrow. It's Dan Patrick on 100.9 The Mitt. We'll be back on Monday.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9